Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and guests. I'm going to pick up kind of like where Mr. Buchanan left off and head down I-75 from Michigan to Cincinnati. Well, of course, my route there was about 25 years ago, by the way, of I-71 from the Youngstown area where I was raised, and Cincinnati was my first job out of college. And so I originally was supposed to be located in Columbus, but the head office had other plans. Anyway, it was my first sales job, my first career job, and lived out in a hotel for about 3 weeks. And also everybody else in the company was, in the sales capacity, was in for corporate training. So they fed us well there. Everything from Montgomery Inn ribs to La Rosa's Pizza, Chinese food, the thumbs are up, keep going with David there. Until it all became routine and eating at restaurants and all, and I had to find a way to break the cycle. And fortunately I did when I moved in my apartment and started making home-cooked meals again. But still had to break that cycle. But I heard a lot about Cincinnati chili, and 2 blocks from me was, of course, in every neighborhood is a Cincinnati chili parlor. This one in particular was the Forest Park Skyline. So I decided, well, they serve hot dogs there. I haven't had a hot dog in like 2 months. And if anybody doesn't know what Cincinnati chili is, it's not like your Texas chili or anything like that. Some people consider it to be more like a sauce. But its most common variety is called a 3-way, which is, don't get any ideas now.
No.
The chili itself was spaghetti and cheese. And I thought all that together is like the oddest combination whatsoever. So I walk in to order for the first time. I'm not going to do the first time through a drive-thru. And I look on the counter, and there's this fella eating a plate of 3-ways, just inhaling it, like it's going out of style. I said, I don't think I can take it that far. So my first order, I played it safe, which was just had the chili with the cheese and a couple of hot dogs on the side. And I liked it. It was pretty good. And one time I decided to go through the drive-thru. I didn't want to cook for myself that night. I was too hungry. I was too tired. I got my order through the drive-thru, came home, opened up. It was a 3-way. The chili, the cheese, the spaghetti. I said, oh, I just cannot eat this. There's no way. But I was too tired and hungry to go back and complain about it. So I decided, heck, I'm just going to go for this. And once I took my first bite, it was indelible. Nice try, man. And it was like love at first sight. And fast forward 2 months later, I was in Cincinnati very long my first time. My boss calls me into his office. This was during a lunch we had, and to continue the tradition of them feeding us well, we were having a steaks grilled for lunch out in the parking lot. Yes, yeah. He'd talk at the same time. Because he knew my office. He's usually facetious. I thought it was just another joke or whatever. And he says to me, we have an opening in Cleveland, Ohio for a sales position. We really need you up there. And remember, I'm a Northeast Ohio native. This is 1995. So what do you think my answer is? Yes, 95 Indians, the flats, being closer home to family. So leave Cincinnati for there. And I was not aware there was a couple of local locations at the time. And my stash from Cincinnati, a frozen Skyline, was running out. So I was making trips to Columbus, Ohio, monthly to pick up my supply. And I told a couple of people in the office about this. And one of my older and wiser co-workers, Joe, had to shake his head and says, why don't you just call the marketing department and see if they sell it around here? Now, you know, this is mid-90s. We didn't go to Google and all that. We didn't have the convenience of technology to find these things out. And I said, I don't want to do that. It's a ridiculous call. To call the marketing department and all that. But he said, just go do it. So I go back to my desk and I call them. And I asked, a very kind young woman took the call and asked, you sell it in Cleveland? She says, yes, we do at Stop and Shop in Giant Eagle. And I shopped at Finest at the time, if you ever remember Finest, and Giant Eagle wasn't as prevalent. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I got off the phone. And my coworker Joe just had this big smirk on his face. See? I told you. But nevertheless, to fast forward to the present day, and how this even ties into public speaking, which sometimes I don't always like to do. I took a job last year, which requires giving an hour-long presentation to architect firms, lunch and learns. And my first one was in Cincinnati, of all places. This was September of last year. And it actually went well, but I was so stressed from giving this hour-long PowerPoint that on my way home I stopped off at a mom and pop place, which is actually my favorite chili parlor off on Pleasant Ridge. I didn't have one serving 3 ways. I ate 2 and I drove away. Back home, I was surprised I didn't hit a food coma or whatever. And then a month later, I had another lunch and learn down there, which my company buys the box lunches. It's usually a sandwich, something, fairly modest. And it didn't go so well. It was with a much larger, prestigious firm, and they were very stoic, and they were looking at me and everything. It just, whatever I was presenting wasn't flying. But they had a very kind coordinator, lunch and learn coordinator, and he asked if I wanted one of the box lunches. I said, oh no, I got a lunch plan. So after that, I head to Pleasant Ridge again, and much like the guy I first encountered at Skyline 20-some years earlier, I inhaled another dish of a 3-way and drove home. And how can he be more germane to this group? Well, a little while back I did my icebreaker, and apparently it went well, but still, you always look for comfort food or whatever after. I headed straight up to Lyndhurst to the Skyline Chili on Mayfield Road, and immersed myself. It was called a 4-way, which is the same thing as a 3-way, but you add beans or onions to that. And so even as far as tonight, will I be heading up there afterwards? Maybe.